Well, welcome everyone. This is Jeannie White from Social Connections on Passionate World Talk Radio. And this is really a great time. I'm introducing a new host at Passionate World Talk Radio. Her name is Toni Quest, and the name of her show is called Energy Stoners Cafe Podcast. And this is the debut for the new show. We're going to post it this week, her new audio. And I want to welcome you, Toni.
Thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it, Jeannie. I'm very excited.
Yes, you should be. You know, this is an exciting thing because you're also doing other means of social media. You have a television show?
Yes, I do. Talk with TQ, produced and directed by James H. Brooks.
Yes, and how is that going for you? Is that exciting?
It's been going very well. We've been doing it for a few years now.
Yeah.
And the reason I like it is because I get to interview really interesting people. It's just what I like. I always find that people outside of myself, when I get outside of myself, I find the world more interesting. And the more I get into what other people are doing, the more excited I feel about life. It's very inspiring.
It is very inspiring. Mm-hmm. But you want to talk about what your show is going to be like here on Passionate World Talk Radio?
Sure. The Energy Stoners Cafe is going to be somewhat similar to Talk with TQ, but I like the fact that it's in a podcast format because then people can listen to it wherever, whenever they want to. At some point, whatever point they want to listen to it. And the name I chose in terms of Energy Stoners is because I'm really a jeweler on the side. That's one of my little side things, that I'm a jeweler and I work with energy stones. But I realized that you could get stoned on just other people's energy. I can say that I've been around people that I've interviewed and sometimes not interviewed that are so exciting, so intriguing to me that it's almost like I feel like I get a little different kind of feeling because just being around them. Their energy is often exciting, intoxicating, and just the whole idea that something miraculous is happening, amongst us. I like that.
Oh, that's terrific. And so are you going to be taking some of your shows that you're presently doing and will be putting them on Passionate World Talk Radio?
Well, yeah, according to my director, he can take, I guess, the audio on a show that was actually on my TV show and use the audio because that contains the content as well. So there'll be some Talk with TQ on Energy Stoners Cafe in the future, I imagine. I can't imagine it not being. So yes.
Oh, that'd be terrific because you can also, if you want to send, we can also take video from you too.
Okay, that's good to know.
So it's good to know in case sometimes you want to send the audio or sometimes you may want to send the video.
Yes.
Whichever one, whatever you think the audience is going to be listening to. And maybe, show off some of your jewelry that you do. What you do.
Thought. Yeah, that's a thought.
I mean, you should tell all the background of you as an individual. You're an artist also,
Yes, I'm an artist. It's true. And I would say sometimes I think about it, and this is what I spoke about. I did a little talk at this event on Saturday night. I said that what I realized early on when I first started creating visual art, because before my story, it has a story. You can go to screamingwoman.com and click the About Us, and then you can read about my story, about how I became an artist. But I always felt that it was a miracle that happens when you take something from the universe or the divine or God, whatever you want to call it. It actually kind of enters your mind, or you see it through your eyes and it goes into your head. And it's very miraculous to me how that's processed. And then suddenly for some of us that are artists, that's processed in a way that it comes down through your mind, through your body. And then all of a sudden you're manifesting what's in your mind with your hands,
yes.
That was always a miraculous thing to me. And people that can do it, there are a lot of people that can do it better than me, but it's a very rare gift to when you really realize, when you start to think about how it's happening, because it's hard to explain when it's actually happening through you.
Right, because it actually starts with a thought.
It starts with a thought. For
And
me,
then,
yeah.
yeah.
For me, it started with a car crash, and in my convalescence, after recovering from that, it's like this just like happened to me. All of a sudden, I was taking something that was going on, I guess, in my subconscious was coming down through me, and I started to draw and paint these screaming faces, and I did not know I had this in me. So to me, it's a magical thing, you
It is a
know.
magical thing. It may have already been there, but because of an incident in the universe, it brought it to the forefront for you.
I think you're right about that, and you and I, Jeannie, have talked about the universe and
Yes.
things that just kind of are things that happen,
Right. Right.
things that are going to happen. And there's a lot of miraculous things there are a lot of miraculous things that happen within us
Oh,
as
I
human beings.
oh, I agree. So, okay, let's get back to your podcasting and your TV channel. Do you interview in a studio, or how do you get your guests to come on? And how do how do you know this is the person you want to have on your show?
That's a good question. I like a loaded question. Well, the answer to the first part, I have this studio, which I actually create most of my visual art in the studio, but it's set up in such a way that when we shoot an actual video interview, my director is able to transform it into an actual like studio set, like a TV set,
Yeah.
and people see this TV thing, they don't know what else is happening, like off camera. Like there's a lot of stuff going on in that room every day. You should see what's going on in there now. I have 3 projects going, and I'm trying not to think about them because sometimes it's hard to concentrate on one thing. But yeah, then there are times, I'd say fairly regularly, but it's always kind of a spontaneous decision, and it's not always mine. We'll actually go on location to actually do an interview, and those are always fun to me. I get
Yeah.
very excited about that.
That's exciting. Because I used to be in a studio with a friend of mine called Rara with Laura, and we had a great time. It was it was a spiritual thing. It really was, but it worked out very well. But it was fascinating to be in a studio, and you had all the lights. There's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes as you're doing the show. So
Right.
there's a lot of activity. So
Yes,
it's kind
I know. It's like it's really it's cool, especially when you don't have to do anything but just sit there and do what you're told. That's what I do.
Sit there and look cute. One
Well,
of
I
those
don't
this.
have it. I'm very blessed with this show, and I'm very blessed to have the fantastic producer director who's just like out. I don't know how he does it. He's just very, very astute at what he does. Very talented, very creative,
Yeah.
and he has a really good way of getting a great picture of something.
Yeah.
He does his editing, everything he does is really outstanding. James Brooks, that's his name.
Yeah, and he comes from the same studio that you're at, also.
Well, we're with Altice here in New York, on the community channel officially.
Yeah.
But since we're pretty much free agents, we also do other things we discovered each other there, and it was completely, it's always been pretty much all business, and since then we've worked on some creative projects together, and he's worked on several projects with me,
Yeah.
um, I'm really proud. I'm really proud to have him as my director.
Well, you should be. I mean, you do put a lot of work into it, because you were with us a long time ago on Passionate
Yes,
World
I
Talk
was.
Radio.
That's
And what
where I
was
started.
you were?
I
Yeah,
started with you
it
guys.
started. And what was the name of the show?
I can't remember. I remember the name of the show was we had a couple of shows. I did it once a week.
Wasn't there a wine show?
I was just thinking that there was every third Monday evening.
Yeah.
I had a guest who was a sommelier, and he's a wine connoisseur.
Yes.
And I was not really so much into it. I didn't have much of a discerning palate for it. But by the time I had done the show with him for, I'd say, half a year, every Monday, every third Monday, I
Yeah.
developed this very discerning palate for wine. His name was John Crisco, Krysco. And
Uh-huh.
he was very good at what he did. He just knew a lot about wine. So I can say that at this point, I do have a very discerning palate for wine. And he's taught me to like types of wine that I didn't think I could like, and to really understand, about the grape. Yes, and
Yeah.
we do tasting. We tasted 3 wines usually from a different, like, every show had a theme. So I remember one week the theme was like South African wines
Uh-huh.
from South Africa, which was really good. And so we tasted 3 wines from South Africa. We once we a couple times did shows about Cabernet. I particularly liked the show we did about Petit Syrah or Shiraz. I enjoyed that.
Oh, I like that wine.
Yeah, don't you?
Yes, that's delicious.
Yes, isn't it
Yes.
though?
Yes.
Yeah, it
Yes.
has something about it. And
Yeah.
I decided that what I really like is I developed this taste for inky wines. Although I like most wine if it's good wine. I don't like wine that's like I don't want like a one note. I don't like I like a wine that's somewhat complex.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're having it, you can appreciate the
Really can taste
complexity
it
of
all.
it.
Those your
Whether
taste
it's like,
buds are jumping
yeah,
all over the place.
yeah,
Really. Yeah. Yeah.
yes, my mouth
That's
is watering.
terrific. So
Maybe
this
I'll have a wine show on maybe I'll do a wine show on the Energy Stoners Cafe, every now and then.
once in
I
a
can do that.
while. Yes.
Yeah.
And didn't you say one time because I know my audience would love this. Do you have not you've talked to me about it, about having a I don't know if she's a card reader or she
Oh
is
yes.
yeah.
Yes, she's a psychic,
Yeah.
astrologer and tarot card reader. Her name is Dee Crower, and she's from Witch Haven is the name of her company.
Yeah.
You can Google that. I don't have her information right in front of me,
Oh no, that's okay. I just thought I would mention it to say
but
you'll be able to have a variety of guests coming on.
she will be a regular guest on the show. She promised me she would do that.
Uh-huh.
And I just want to invite people also, to come to that show. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I haven't structured it yet, and I have to speak to, the powers that be, the
Right.
director, about how we're going to structure this. But yes, I did a show with her, and it was video for Talk with TQ, and I went to her home where she works,
Yeah.
and did the interview there. Because I just love being on location.
Oh,
Yeah.
there's nothing like being on location. There really
Mhm.
isn't. It's absolutely it's because it's a very spontaneous feeling,
Yes. And
because yeah,
it's a very spontaneous feeling, and again, the energy of being in her particular space is very different than the energy being in my particular
right.
space.
Yeah, the
Not
energies
that
are always different. Yeah,
they're
they're
both
always
good.
different.
It's
Yeah.
all good, but it's a whole different kind of vibe, you know? And
Uh-huh.
so the Energy Stoners name came about when I started working with jewelry. I sort of evolved into this over the years. I've been doing this for, I guess, jewelry design for about 11 years now. I think 10, 11 years it's coming up on. And I did it mostly for the aesthetic in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a sort of a feeling for certain stones, but I didn't know what I was feeling. And then I started to learn about the different stones. And I found that when people came to my studio to purchase certain things, they tended to be attracted to things automatically.
Yeah.
I remember once making a necklace, three actually necklaces out of this stone called kunzite. And
Yeah.
it's a very interesting stone, but I found that when certain people walked into my studio when I had these 3 pieces in my studio, they gravitated to that. And they looked at it and for some reason never looked left or right so much as that. But yeah, I think that there's a lot of protection and love energy that comes from that.
Oh, they do. I wear a lot of different stones
Yeah, what
for
stones do you
protection.
wear? What's your favorite? What do you like to wear? Jeannie.
I'm really
No.
I'm trying to think because I have one and it's one, it has something to do with how it was created by the hermits.
Uh-huh.
And that's once, and I don't know the actual stone it is. It's,
Hmm.
I know is there's red in it. And
Red.
I'm attracted to red.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. It could be coral,
It could be, I've
you
never
know?
really paid. I just know that there's certain things. And like I have the mala, the mantra beads. I
Yes.
have
Oh.
one, and the one where you can wear it as a bracelet.
Hmm.
And I wear that every time I leave my house, I put it on
Oh,
because
nice.
it's for protection,
That's
protection.
interesting. That's interesting because a lot of people are like that and they don't even
Yeah.
know why they're that way. It's funny. I'm here on the show. I forgot to put my rings on that I make, but I make these rings, these wire wrapped rings.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah, and it's sitting in a pile of stones right now because I wanted to put it with the certain stones because
Yeah.
it kind of recharges the energy in the stone itself,
Yeah.
you know. But I think that I'm feeling pretty confident without them at the moment. I could
Well,
go get I could go get them. I'll have them for next time.
go get them. Let's
I
see.
should.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody. I'm gonna stand up.
She's standing up. Okay. And I'm here and she's going to go get the
And Jeannie's
rings.
on
I
her
think.
own, and I have to do a little bit of adjustments. So I can get out of my mini studio here. Here I go. Okay.
Okay. Well, we're going to wait for her to bring back some of the stones that she has. And these energy stones are just absolutely fabulous. I may not know the names of them, but I know that once I've gone to health fairs, and once I've touched a stone, I'm attracted to it and I touch it. I know that's the stone I should buy, literally. And there's no rhyme or reason to it why you do it, but that's what I do.
It's
And
kind of like the stone chooses you.
yeah, that's right. Because I was just saying, as soon as I go and I touch it, I just know it's the stone for me. I just know
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And so when I started doing, I started to understand why that is because I used to not understand why is that,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it's because of the energy of the stone,
Stone. Yeah.
you
Because,
know.
yep.
I think a lot of people think when I say energy stoners that I'm like always stoned, you know. It doesn't mean
It means
that I'm
something. Yeah.
always stoned. I don't say I'm
It's,
always stoned. I say I'm always stoned. No, I'm not always stoned. Whatever. I do like my Dino, I always say it's
yeah.
400 world. Why not? Anyway,
Yeah.
but anyway, I think that it's really interesting that you say when you touch it, you know it's yours. Now, can I show a
I know
stone?
it. Yeah.
May I
Of
show a stone?
course.
Okay.
Yes.
This is like sort of like one of my favorite stones. I don't know if you, oh wow, look at the
Oh,
blue.
look at it. The
That
blue is
is,
really,
that
there's
is
a lot of blue and gold.
and striations. This
Yeah.
is labradorite, and I got this from a store, which is actually the retail operation of a massage therapist in my neighborhood.
Yeah.
Her name is Julie Oversky. I think it might be Oversky.
Yeah.
We call her Joe, J-O,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
her place. She's a massage therapist. She's agreed to be on the show.
Oh,
And
that's
I want
excellent.
I want the audience to meet her because she is rather versed in stones. Even though she has a massage therapy practice,
Mm-hmm.
she's very versed and she sells a lot of them in her shop. When I went to her shop and I saw this piece of labradorite, I mean, I was just like over the moon.
That's
I
beautiful.
look
Absolutely
at it.
beautiful.
I like putting it up to the camera.
Yeah. Oh my God, look at that. It's got a lot of blue.
Um,
It shows a lot.
it has striations all through it.
Yeah.
So this particular stone of labradorite is known as the magic stone. So for those people that are believers and that they know that there's something outside of themselves that gives them the ability to do something,
Oh yeah.
it can create. It's known to create magic. A lot of people use it to meditate with. I
Mm-hmm.
just love holding it. It just feels really good in my hand. And then you can get pieces of it or beads of it that are carved and made into beads. This is one of
Yeah.
I'm not wearing it, but this ring is a ring that has some labradorite in it. I'm
Oh my.
trying to put, there's a rose quartz
Oh yeah, rose quartz. Yes, to go over to your left.
There you
Yeah,
go.
yeah,
And there are a couple of beads on the side.
yeah.
There's a piece of Herkimer diamond.
Oh yeah, okay.
And then on the other side, that little grayish piece, which is really another piece of
Yeah,
labradorite.
yeah. Oh,
And
that's nice.
and
That's
oh, look, I
nice.
made. Did you see it sparkle for a second? I love that. Oop,
I love it when there it goes. It sparkles. Yes. Oh, I love
that,
it. Yeah.
that's the Herkimer diamond. So I do these energetic designs, and people often come to me and say that they want me to make something for them for a specific reason.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say problem,
Just
reason.
for a reason. Reason. It may
Yeah,
be something that they're feeling inside that they should have.
something they feel they need,
Yeah, they need. Yeah.
or maybe even energy they want to block. I
Yeah.
can design things energetically,
Oh, that's good to know.
you
All
know.
right. Yeah. That's
So
excellent.
so getting back to Energy Stoners Cafe, um, I decided that it would be a good thing for me to take those feelings that I have for the energy stones and bring them into my interviews,
Mm-hmm.
and have a very lighthearted kind of cafe setting, you
Mm-hmm.
know, a nice, very interesting, informative interview
Yeah.
with very interesting people. I have an interview coming up that will be on Energy Stoners Cafe with an educator by the name of Joseph Lento, very, very astute into a lot of, very dedicated to education, and is developing programs to help youth, that he implements and is very effective, and I think could be considered a necessity in our educational systems. And I have another gentleman um, that I interviewed that will be on the show by the name of James Gordon Boyd, J. Gordon Boyd. He's also an educator and an advocate for safety in Toronto. Very interesting the way these connections actually happen.
Mm.
Because I met him, I found out about him through Joseph Lento, who's in the New York metropolitan area like myself, and Mr. Boyd is in Toronto, Canada. Go figure. So
See how? Yeah.
we find each other on the internet.
Yes.
I really like it when it's done in a very healthful way like that.
That sounds excellent. It really does. I like the idea of the type of individuals that you have that really do try to make a difference to many lives. And that's what I like about these shows is that
Mhm.
you're providing ways and means for people to take care of any issues that are going on, such as education for the young
Yeah,
youth. That's very important.
yeah, and that's a big topic in my life. It's very important,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I tend to want to teach the underserved kind of populations.
Mm-hmm,
I know
mm-hmm.
that there are experts out there in child education,
Right. Yeah.
in like the K through 12 thing. Um, I found that my niche, probably in education, even though I do well with teaching children, I feel that it's important to teach adults as well and to promote lifelong learning. So, I've worked with elders sometimes in teaching different topics, and I like teaching on a college level. I find teaching undergraduates, I've done that, not art necessarily, but some fundamentals or some of the foundation things that they need to learn in higher education.
Mm-hmm.
I'm fascinated by the learning process, very much so.
Oh, that's excellent. That's very interesting education. For me, I like to be able to provide a platform for people to come and talk and discuss whatever it is they need to discuss, but also to enhance the listening audience with something new that they never heard about.
Right. Yes. And yeah, that's what Energy Stoners Cafe
Yeah,
is kind of in the same chapter as you on
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Because my thing is like, it's not, sometimes it's not so much that you want to say, oh, like, my cousin can draw, can you interview her? It's not that there's anything wrong with that. I find that fascinating as well. If somebody says something like that to me and they
Mm-hmm.
say their cousin can draw, I'm more inclined to want to work with them to help them create the masterpieces. But in terms of like, satisfying what our audience expects of us. You might agree
Mm-hmm.
with this, Jeannie.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's important to find sort of like a twist on the conventional, you
Right.
know?
Right. Something that everyone is, for me, thinking that everything it's handled the same way.
Right.
When here I am, and I'm going to tell you, you're going to get the same place, but it's going to be different.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
so, and that's important to show that there's no one way.
There's no one way to do things.
Right. There's
That's
always
true.
another alternative to do it, and
Hmm.
maybe learn it a little better, or maybe
Hmm.
you'll come out of it with something you just didn't know anything about. That's
Right.
what I like, because usually when I'm talking to a guest before they come on, and if I hadn't heard about the situation, I'm going, I know my audience is going to love this, because if I've never heard about it, then my audience may not have heard it also. So what a great opportunity to give off a new idea, a new venture, something new, because you always need to advance forward and learning something new, I think, all the time.
Yes, that's what lifelong learning is all about.
Mm-hmm.
It also explains a little bit about why um, I really enjoy teaching adults. Learners bring like this plethora of experience to the learning process, things they've already learned. You know,
Uh-huh.
I think often I've had someone say to me, "Oh, why would you want to talk to me? I only have a high school. I don't even have a high school diploma or whatever." It doesn't mean
No.
that they're not in the process of learning something that I don't know, you know? And I think that when I was younger, maybe just out of high school and just in college and stuff, I didn't really understand that as much as I understood it 10 years after college. With
Right.
all the experience I had, the experiences, you know, have contributed to my learning process.
Right. Just added to it.
Equally, as I'm not going to put down the fact that I have degrees, but I would say equally, there's
Mm-hmm.
something about actually going through certain things or learning something from another person as opposed to an institution.
Mm-hmm.
The
Well,
lifelong learner knows no politics. The learning is going to happen. What did a friend of mine used to say? You can't unsee it. You can't unhear it. It's already there,
it's 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 there.
Yeah.
It's for me when I am ever, someone will say something to me very similar. What do I have? I don't have a college degree. I just have a high school education. And I said, well, obviously you have something to offer the world. Doesn't mean anything.
Yes.
I used to say, look, at going to college, I went to college and I went on to get other minors degrees. But to me, I always felt like college was just learning how to solve a problem.
Yeah, learning where to solve, learning how to go about doing it.
That's right.
It's that's all it does. It's that critical thinking thing.
Right.
It's
Yes.
not like someone just tells you, but I think the good teacher shows you how to go about solving that problem. You know how it was. You got to have citations and all that stuff.
Yes. Yes.
When you're
Yes.
done, you never want to read another book again. Remember that? It's like enough. No, but
I
I'm not
know it.
really like that. I have
Yeah.
like three going. I'd like to be able to finish one of them. People just throw books at me, and I don't mind it, but it's hard to read three books at the same time
It is.
and
It's difficult.
also finish
Yeah.
this commission. You know what I mean?
But
So it's
yeah, I always tell people though, everyone has a story that needs to be told,
mhm,
and I'm here for you. And regardless of how or why or when, is as long as it's coming from your heart,
right.
means so much to me, and that's how I go about it. I've had some very interesting guests come on, and each one was just as good as the next one. It gets so that you sort of mingle with. There's so many that have come on, that
Hmm.
have given
Hmm.
something absolutely. You can't buy this kind of stuff. You just can't.
Right. It's true. You can't
Yeah.
buy this kind of stuff. But I'm really happy that to have another platform in
Mm-hmm.
which to deliver the learning.
That's right. That's what it
Deliver
is.
the
Another.
learning and deliver the art and artistry.
Yeah.
I think it's
Yeah.
really important to share these things with others.
Yeah.
If you know about it and you know it would benefit, you have any kind of means to put it out there. Yeah,
Definitely.
do it.
There's many platforms to put it on, and the more
Hmm.
platforms you put it on, for me, Toni, is I don't look at the volume. I look at that one person that needs to hear this. That's important to me. Very, very important.
Yes.
You know. And
can I just mention one other
of course, yes,
person
yes.
that's going to be on that I want people to listen to?
Yeah.
I'm going to have on a gentleman by the name of Peter Elvidge, who has a really interesting story. You know, I've worked with him, and he was visually impaired. He was blind, and it looked like it was like permanent blindness. And something happened to him where he got his vision back. And he'll be talking about that on Energy Stoners Cafe. So stay tuned for that.
Oh, that's excellent. Really, you
Yes.
got some really interesting guests coming on. Yes.
I'll have a blind. I haven't interviewed her yet, but I'll have her on. I interviewed her on another show, but she's a blind opera singer. You know, I want to find out how can you learn Italian opera when you can't even read the words and you don't speak Italian. You know, it's like very interesting.
That is interesting. How?
She'll be on.
Really? Yeah.
Lauren Capps, and there are a few people. I'm very excited. I have another gentleman who has a company with his wife that's called Clean Slate, in which he removes he lays with lasers, removes tattoos. You know, it's kind of like you might have made a drunken decision to put a tattoo on yourself or whatever, and it's like, uh-oh, you know, he takes care of that.
Yeah.
He has some interesting stories with that. And he says that it's not always because they thought they made a mistake, but it's because they want to make more room on their bodies for new ones.
For new ones.
Interesting gentleman, Jeff Garnett, Clean Slate, tattoo removal, Jeff and Mary Garnett. But I have some very interesting guests coming on. You know, that again, like I say in my promo, you're going to wonder why you didn't know this. Why didn't you know?
Yeah, why didn't you know? Is right. Yeah, yeah. So look, I don't want to take more of your time up. I know you're really busy. So is there any parting words to the watching and listening audience?
I just want to welcome them to Energy Stoners Cafe, which will be debuting within very soon, and probably this week if everything goes as planned. And I think I don't want to say the day until I talk to you off camera and make sure I got the day right.
Yeah.
But, it'll be debuting this week.
Yes.
And there'll be links to it. And if you want to know more about that, you can contact me at tonyquesttv@gmail.com. And I'm on LinkedIn.com. You could Google Toni Quest on LinkedIn. It's ToniQuest. And I've written a lot of articles, and it's really good if you contact me there. You know, that's my best email is on LinkedIn. Just put my name in the search engine, I'll come up.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
So I'd love to hear from you.
Yes, thank you. I'll put all that information, like I do a blog, and it'll be and I will be able to put that information on for you. All right.
Okay. Your listeners are used to you.
Yes. Yeah. So I'll put all that stuff on for you, Toni.
Okay.
I can't thank you enough for joining us, and I
Thank
appreciate it.
You.
And I'm looking forward to you being a host on Passionate World Talk Radio. And I'm looking forward to doing more with you, Toni. You never know what we'll do together.
That's true.
Yeah. So again, thank you again for listening.
My pleasure. Thank you, Jeannie.
Thank you. And this is Jeannie White from Social Connections on Passionate World Talk Radio. And as soon as we're done with this, I'm sure you'll be able to watch this live on YouTube and on Facebook. I want to thank everyone for listening, and see you again, everyone. Bye now.
Bye.